Now, despite the effect of COVID-19 still being felt in the tourism sector, things are looking up as African travel sits at 96% of pre-COVID levels. I caught up with Minister of Tourism Patricia de Lille earlier and started off by asking her how much of a shadow the pandemic casts on the business tourism industry still. Here's what she had to say.
Well, let me start with the entrepreneurs. There are still some that closed completely during COVID-19. That have not really recovered. And that's why government made available the Tourism Equity Fund. We opened up for proposals last year. I will be getting an update tomorrow. Because what we want to see is that those ones who completely disappeared, that they come back and make a comeback with grant and assistance from government. The Small Enterprise Finance Association, they are the implementing agent for the Department of Tourism. So, but in general, they have, most of the sectors have recovered, and especially with the growth. So I look forward to the stats to be released by Stats SA next week to see how we close that 4% that you are referring to. I'm very confident that we're going to get past that in 2024.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, of course, this was the media launch for Meetings Africa that is taking place from the 26th of February. And really the big focus was business tourism, right?
Yes.
I think in terms of leisure, our beautiful country sells itself. Trevor Noah also didn't do such a bad job with his ad. But in terms of business tourism, are we selling South Africa properly? And also, are we selling it, and not even just for the international community, but for the local community as well?
Well, first of all, the competition is tough. We're competing with the rest of the world. And the rest of the world owes us nothing. We have to go out and sell ourselves. So for the 23-24 financial year, we put in 63 bids. We spent about 98 million. To put in those bids for conferences to be hosted in South Africa. I'm happy to announce that we've been successful to get 16 already. And that 16 will be spread across the country, from Sun City to Johannesburg to Durban, Cape Town, Potchefstroom. Some of the smaller towns will also benefit from that. So we still have got a long way to go. So Meetings Africa is providing the continent to showcase to the world the incentives that are there to come to the continent, to show them our infrastructure, show them our experience of hosting big conferences. South Africa has just hosted BRICS, we had hosted Goa. So we've got the experience, and we are working very hard in that experience. There must always be a place for the SMMEs. So this is a Pan-African initiative. More than 3,000 delegates will attend. Over 350 buyers from 52 countries will be here. And therefore the program and the support that government is giving to the SMMEs to have that market access, that really is the focus. But then we also compete amongst ourselves as the African countries. Rwanda. Rwanda is right on the hills of South Africa. In fact, Kigali is beginning to get to the level of conferences like almost like the city of Cape Town, who's got the monopoly now. So yes, we compete amongst ourselves. But the idea with Meetings Africa is to say this is about our beloved continent.
You talk about SMEs and also how some of these bids are going to go into some of these smaller towns. I want to talk about the township entrepreneur.
Yes.
Are we making enough of an effort to take business tourism into the townships, or is it just a case of we're working with a system where the township entrepreneurs come to the big nodes and then after they've left, we forget about them? Are we actually making an effort to actually take business tourism to the townships?
That is exactly where we need to improve. Now, we are starting tomorrow. The South African townships, villages, and small dorpies, Satu Vitu, at the cradle of humankind. There will be an expo that I'm going to open tomorrow to show all of these various offerings within the townships and villages and small dorpies. Because as South Africans, we need to also move beyond saying to our visitors, Table Mountain, safaris, Sandton, you know, the offering need to be expanded. And I'm leading the charge this year that we get into our townships, that we get into our villages and make sure that we take people there. Yes, this Meetings Africa is in Sandton, and all the SMMEs that we are sponsoring will be coming here to Sandton. But before the event takes place between the 26th and 28th of February, we're taking selected media and we're taking selected buyers that's coming, and we're going to take them around to visit all of these hidden gems that we've got across the country. And even post the event, some of them will be staying, because we want them to see and experience for themselves, you know, what more we've got to offer in our townships and in our villages. Yes.
Earlier on in your presentation, you spoke about how we need to create more air routes. And you spoke about a situation where people had to go from Rwanda to Europe and back here to South Africa. And you mentioned a new air access strategy. Talk to me about that.
What is currently happening in South Africa is that, first of all, we lost a lot of our airspace with SAA, you know, retreating out of the market. And we have to do a lot more to get back that airspace, which we still don't have, like the pre-COVID levels. So I did an audit to see, you know, what are we doing to bring back the air access. To find that we have got, Durban has got their own air access strategy, the Eastern Cape, Gauteng has got their own air access, Cape Town, and I said no. We all need to come together to have a national air access strategy. And then started working in consultation with the private sector. That will also benefit a lot by getting more flights and more feet coming to our country. So we have now got the first draft of how we can improve air access. What are incentives that we can offer together with the Department of Transport? And that now I'm presenting to Cabinet in March for consideration. Then I will then take the South African National Air Access Strategy. There's an African Continental Air Access Conference coming in Cape Town later in the year. And say to the rest of the continent, how do we connect with yours? But there's one failure in the continent. At the African Union, in 2012, there was an agreement to have a single air access strategy for the continent that has never really been implemented. It was launched in 2018 in Rwanda. So in discussions with the other African ministers, I'm saying to them, let's us lead this as tourism and implement the African Union single air access strategy. So there's a lot of policy work that we need to do. But for South Africa, already we've got commitments from the private sector to invest. It will be a partnership between public and private. And we will go out there and we will get those airlines to come back to South Africa. But the marketing side and the business side is important. Because yes, we can get them to come to South Africa, But the airlines are saying to me, we don't want to go back with empty.
Okay.
So there need to be a joint marketing strategy for business and tourism together. The airlines make their money out of business class seats. So the investment in infrastructure, the investment in business tourism is critical so that we create that market, so that the airlines can then decide it's worth our while to fly from this destination to that destination. In Africa, we are not doing that bad. There are 3 countries, Rwanda Air, it's helping with connectivity, Ethiopian Airlines, Kenyan Airlines, and SAA is getting back to the region now, but we have to do a lot more.
That was the Minister of Tourism, Patricia de Lille.